This is Joshua Farnsworth. Welcome to my traditional woodworking school. In part 1 of this ultimate guide to wood turning a spindle, professional Windsor chairmaker Elia Bazzari will walk you through the initial steps of splitting a log for perfect spindle stock. Then he'll head to the lathe to set up the wood and rough out the spindle using traditional wood turning tools, like a large roughing out gouge and calipers. See the description below for a list of required wood turning tools.
Try it. Oh, there it's going. There we go. So in order to mark the center on a piece like this, which is really straight, I'm just going to take the drive center from the lathe and put it on there so it's centered between here and here, and so that it's centered between here and here. So having done that, I'll just take it and give it a couple whacks with the club there. So now I've got a mark on the end that'll help keep the center from spinning out as I'm roughing it down on the lathe. So this one was really straight, and this whole log split out really straight, so I went and grabbed this piece of firewood over here to kind of show what I would do on a curved piece. This one might be a little bit too curved to use, but since it's tulip poplar anyways, it's just this is just for demonstration purposes. So to get, let's say the major diameter of my finished piece was going to be right about here. So I don't want to put this center on the piece centered on this point here. I want to center it over this part where my major diameter is going to be. So I'm going to shift this center over that way so that it's roughly over the center of the mass between my two fingers there, where the major diameter of the finished part is going to be. And then I'll drive it in there. So that just helps keep it from being too off center when I put it in the lathe and having my lathe walk across the floor in the shop as I'm turning it, because it's unbalanced so badly. Kind of like a washing machine being unbalanced. So that's all there is to that. We'll go inside and start roughing these things down.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying watching our video so far, and I just want to take a few seconds to let you know about our traditional woodworking store, which you can visit while taking a class or by visiting our website at woodandshop.com/store. You'll find our amazing products to help you grow in traditional hand tool woodworking, including in-person and video woodworking classes, woodworking hand tools and workbenches, woodworking plans, traditional wood finishes, shirts and hats, and cool hand tool woodworking gifts for you or your loved ones. Okay, back to the show.
So now we're ready to start chucking these parts into the lathe and roughing them down to cylinders. Now, I should say that this is not meant to be a complete introduction to turning. If you've never turned before, there's plenty of great resources out on the market that you can go to learn how to turn. Great books, great DVDs. I'm just going to show you some basics that are specific to chair making and some things that I think are important. But this is a dangerous machine. I've gotten my shirt sleeves caught in the lathe, and the next thing I know, my nose was touching the piece of wood in the lathe. So you can get hurt on it. So know what you're doing before you turn it on. And you know, if you don't have a lathe, if you don't feel comfortable using it, if you whatever, you can shave them. Like I said before, you can make these parts with a draw knife easily. So the length is specific to these plans. In this case, it's about 16 inches long. And in this chair, the front legs are about the same length as the rear legs. On some chairs, you want to create a little slouch with the seat, and so you'll make the rear legs a little bit shorter. I should say that I only marked the end of the leg that I'm putting towards the headstock of the lathe. The other end is still unmarked, and we'll find that center here right now. So I'm going to put that marked end into the center there, and then I'm just going to snug up this end, kind of guessing where the center is. I don't know if that's right or not. This educated stick is going to tell me. So I'm going to stick it in between the tool rest and the blank of wood, sticking it into any crevices that are existent in the piece of wood. So there I've got 1.25 inches between my blank and the tool rest. Now I'm going to rotate this blank 180 degrees and measure the exact opposite side. So that's 1.1 inches between there and there. I should say I'm measuring at what I think my future major diameter of this part's going to be. So if the major diameter is shifted down towards the bottom on this part, I might measure down that way. But I think it's about in the center here, so that's where I'm measuring. So this side was 1.1 inches, and this 180 degree opposing side is 1.25 inches. So I need to move this whole blank towards this side. So I'm just going to shift the center here, measure it again. That's 1.1 inches, and that's 1.3 inches. I'm not totally sure how that's possible. This thing just grew on me, but we'll call that good enough. So now I've got these two sides centered. Now I'm going to do the other two sides. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees now. I'm at 1.1 inches there, and 180 degrees from that side, I'm at 1.25 inches. So I need to move it towards that side a little bit. 1.3 inches. Didn't grow that time. All right, so now I've got the thing centered. I want to snug up the tailstock now good and tight and lock it down so it doesn't rattle loose. Before I turn it on, there's a bunch of these hairy doodads hanging off that can come loose and whip you to death. So you want to make sure all these loose fibers are off. You can just rip them off, or you can take a draw knife here and kind of get them loose like that, which might be a little easier. If there's any bark on the blank, it's not a bad idea to take it off so that any grit that's embedded in the bark doesn't dull your tool. These are the ones that really get you here, those ones that you barely can see, and they're totally hanging on. So you want to look down all the crevices and make sure there's nothing loose before you turn that sucker on. So we'll get rid of that. Yeah, I've had my hand turn black and blue when a piece came off once that was really heavy. So that looks fairly safe. So we'll hang our draw knife back up here. Make sure it's locked down, put the eyeglasses on because it does throw some chips. And then what I use is a roughing gouge for this, which means that it's square across the tip. Which a lot of gouges called spindle gouges have a curved nose like this. I like, for roughing out wood, a square one like this so it cuts the chip loose easier. This one's maybe 1.25 inches. It doesn't really matter. I've got one that's 3/4 and that would do almost as efficient a job. When I'm using this tool, I'm referencing off the tool rest. So you can see my forefinger down here is riding against the tool rest. The tool rest is set up parallel with my centers. So it's parallel with the center line of this lathe here. And so then I can just advance the cutter a little bit each pass, making sure, well, I'm not sure what I'm making sure of, but it keeps it going really quickly, and you can hog off a lot of wood really efficiently this way and still end up with a nice cylinder. So let me throw on the lathe here and we'll rough this thing down. So that's roughed down to 1 5/8 now. You saw it spring over the cylinder there, but these things are springy, and so they can spread apart like that if you force it over the turning. So it was probably a little bit oversized when it went the first time, and I took another pass and it just barely slips over. Now I know I'm at the right size. Eating oak here. The last pass I make, I take a fairly light pass so I don't get quite so much of this chipping that you get when you're cutting cross grain like that, because sometimes you'll have to take a lot of the diameter off to get below all that chipping that you get if you're taking a really heavy cut on your last pass. So that's roughed down to the major diameter of my leg, 1 5/8. So from here we can go ahead and rough out the rest of them, and then we'll start turning.
If you're interested in learning traditional woodworking, come take a class at our school in Earlysville, Virginia. You can also visit our website at woodandshop.com, where you'll find a bunch of free woodworking lessons, workshop tours, and our very popular tool buying guides. And make sure you subscribe to our free newsletter to get our latest articles and videos. Enjoy!